This conference will now be recorded.
So today's topic will be on Millennium Development Goals. So at the international level, they want to improve all the indicators. So they have taken up a summit that is they named it as Millennium Development Goals. So what is this Millennium Development Goals regarding? How they are going to frame the goals and what will be the targets, how they are going to achieve them. So all those things today we are going to discuss them. Now you see that to deal with new developments and challenges, in 2000, the United Nations Millennium Declaration, world leaders came together to meet concrete targets for advancing development and reducing poverty. They sat and they discussed about the different types of indicators, like you can see poverty, under 5 mortality, infant mortality rate, empowerment of women, and so many indicators are there, so many goals are there. So regarding all the goals and targets they have discussed, they came together, they sat at one place, they joined hands with the United Nations and they made a Millennium Declaration, and they have made framed certain goals and targets, so that those goals and targets must be achieved by the year 2015. So the main aim of this Millennium Development Summit or Millennium Development Goals Summit is that mainly they want to focus on to attack on inadequate incomes. You see, the rich are having more money and poor are having very less money, and there is a lot of disparities there between the poor and the rich. Regarding, you can take healthcare services, urban and rural. There are a lot of variations are there. So to build the gap or to overcome the inadequate incomes between the poor and the rich, and that is the main aim. That is the main aim of this Millennium Summit. And then widespread hunger. You can see almost in India, almost malnutrition among children is almost more than 50%. More than 50%. It shows that how many children are hunger. Almost 50%. That means every second child is not consuming the proper calories whatever is required by him per day. That's why malnutrition is very high. Malnutrition is very high among the children. It is almost more than 50%. More than 50%. That is almost every second child. Every second child is suffering with malnutrition. So widespread hunger is there. So to overcome that hungriness also, so they met. They made a conference, that is Millennium Summit, and they discussed about it, how to overcome about the widespread hunger in the entire world, as well as especially India. Gender inequality. So this is the most common one. You can see in Indian scenario, women regarding wages, especially in agriculture sector or non-other sectors, non-agricultural sectors, you can see there is a lot of disparities there between the women and the men. So men are given more opportunities and men are given more salaries when compared to the females. So there is a gender inequality. Inequality is there in the entire world. So how to overcome this? How to overcome this gender inequality? That point also, that goal also they have discussed. And then environmental deterioration. So next one is they want to mainly attack on environmental deterioration. That means proper sanitation is not maintained. We are spoiling the environment. We are proper cleanliness is not maintained, and we are doing deforestation. Right? So many things we are spoiling the environment. So how to overcome this? And what are the guidelines? What are the goals? And what are the targets? How to reach them by 2015? So they made a summit, that is 2015. By 2015, how to achieve all these goals. And then lack of education, healthcare, and clean water. So you can see education is not available to all the people in the society. Only few people, those who are having money, they are getting a very good education, and poor people, they are not getting, even the primary education is not available to them. So though they are getting the primary education from the government side, the lack of facilities are there, infrastructure is not there, manpower is not there, and there are so many constraints or so many problems are there. So how to overcome them? At least everybody must get a primary or secondary up to secondary education. And then healthcare, I told you, in urban and rural areas. So if you look at the in the last time when we discussed, I said clearly that, so healthcare, when it comes to healthcare, so majority of the population are living in rural areas. Majority of Indian population were living in rural areas, but the healthcare services provided to the rural areas are very less. Whereas less number of people, when compared to rural area, less number of people are living in urban areas, and they are given district hospitals, super specialty hospitals, teaching hospitals are available for the urban area people only. So that means healthcare services are more towards the urban area and less towards the rural area. So how to overcome this disparity? How to overcome this gap, or how to overcome the rural areas as well as the urban slums? Even for today also, they are not getting the clean water for drinking. So that also how to overcome it. So these are the points which were discussed. These are the points which were discussed in the Millennium Development Summit, right? So mainly they want to overcome the inadequate incomes between the rich and the poor, and widespread hunger, which is prevalent among the low socioeconomic status, where the widespread hunger is present. And then gender inequality. So there is a lot of inequalities there between the men and the women. Lot of inequality is there between the men and women. So women were paid very less when compared to the men, and men are given more opportunities when compared to the women. And then environmental deterioration, that means carbon emission is there, and we are doing deforestation, and we are throwing plastic and spoiling the environment. We are not maintaining the sanitation properly. So all these issues will come under environmental deterioration. And lack of education, I told you, majority of the people in the rural areas, even they are not getting primary education, though in some areas they are getting. Infrastructure is inadequate, whereas manpower is inadequate, and they don't have the proper facilities. And sometimes they don't have the access to the schools also. So a lot of things are there. Those points are discussed in this Millennium Development Summit. And healthcare, I told you, there is a lot of disparities there between the rural and urban healthcare services. So majority of the healthcare services were provided to the urban people, that is teaching hospitals are there, super specialty hospitals are there, district hospitals are there. When compared to the rural and tribal areas, we are having only primary health centers, sub centers, and tribal health centers. That's all. They don't have any teaching hospitals, or they don't have the so-called tertiary care centers. So there is a lot of disparity. I told you, majority of the population in India are living in rural and tribal areas, and access to clean water. So even as the rural and tribal, today also majority of the urban slums, tribal people, they are not getting the clean water. Is also issue. So keeping all these points in view, so they made a summit that is called as Millennium Development Summit. In that, they have made 8 goals and 21 targets. 8 goals, they framed 8 goals and 21 targets. Through these targets, they want to achieve all these goals by the year 2015. So what are the goals and what are the targets, and what are the recommendations of this summit? We will go one by one. If you look at the goal 1, so the goal 1 is mainly concentrating on eradicate poverty and hunger. So eradicate poverty and hunger. So we will see in rural areas as well as in tribal areas, people will not get even they don't get the wages to buy their livelihood per day also. So that is the most pathetic situation in the rural and tribal areas, especially urban slums also. So majority of them are hunger. And how to overcome this? So target 1 is we want to 50% reduction in the hungry of the people, so that people can get the access, get some jobs, so that they can buy their daily consumption, So they can buy their the food needs, whatever is there per day. So at least 50% we want to reduce by 2015. Second one is achieve full and productive employment and decent work for all. So what they want to do is at least minimum work must be given to all the people in the society, so that they will earn something. So they will earn something. With that, they can buy at least their daily needs or daily whatever is needed for consumption. At least they will buy the most needed or most essential food materials for that particular day. So what they want to do is at least give minimum employment to all the people, decent work, whatever may be the work. So government has to create certain jobs, certain employment opportunities to all the people in the society, so that they can get minimum basic facilities or minimum basic materials which are essential for their daily requirements. So government has to make the arrangement so that they can get the decent jobs or decent work. What it may be, different types of opportunities they have to create, work opportunities or jobs they have to create in the society, so that everybody must get the access, so that they can go and work, get minimum wages, and they can buy the food what is essential, what is needed for that particular day. So government has to take the steps. So first goal is eradicate poverty and hunger. So the target is they have to the whatever hunger ratio is there, they want to make it 50%. They want to reduce it 50% by 2015, and achieve full and productive employment and decent work for all. This is the second target. And the indicators, so what are the indicators they have taken? That is prevalence of under 5 malnutrition, underweight children. So what is the prevalence of less than 5 age group? Prevalence of under 5 underweight children. So malnutrition is almost more than 50%. So we want to reduce that. We want to reduce it. That's why they came out with different programs for the children. Especially you can see ICDS is there. ICDS, recently IMNCI, so many programs for children, so that nutritious food will be supplied to the children, so that we can reduce the hungry of the children, as well as to overcome the malnutrition. They came out with so many programs. So indicator is prevalence of under 5 underweight children, and proportion of people below minimum of dietary energy consumption. So how many people are there in the society who are not getting the daily requirement energy consumption? Suppose per day for a sedentary worker, what we are saying is at least minimum is 1800 calories are required. So if they are getting only 1000 calories per day, 800 is a deficiency. So definitely they will land up with malnutrition over a period of time. If they take only 1000 calories per day, so there is deficiency of 800 calories. So if they don't take that 800 calories over a period of time, they will land up with malnutrition or underweight. So that's why we want to know how many are there in the society, those who are not getting minimum of dietary energy consumption per day. So you identify those population and try to come out with programs. So that the daily minimum dietary consumption can be met, so that you can overcome the malnutrition. So the indicators are prevalence of less than 5 under 5 malnutrition, underweight children, as well as proportion of people below minimum of dietary energy consumption. So how many people are there in the society and how many children are there with malnutrition? You have to identify and see that you come out with some programs, so that you can provide nutritious food to the children, as well as to the people those who are not able to meet the minimum of dietary energy consumption per day. So try to come out with nutrition programs, provide them, so that they can come out of the malnutrition and they can go for jobs properly, and they can earn whatever is needed by them. And second one is goal 2 is universal primary education. So what the government is doing is they want to provide primary education to all the children in the society, irrespective of gender, caste, or creed, or whatever it may be. their main aim is they want to enroll as many number of people, as many number of children as possible in the primary education, secondary and higher level of education. So for that they are constructing schools, they are giving so many they came out with so many different types of schemes so that the children can join in the schools and get the primary education properly. So goal 2 is universal primary education. And if you look at the goal 3, goal 3 is promote gender equality and empower women. Goal 3 is promote gender equality. That previously I told you there is a lot of disparities there, or there is a lot of differences there between the male and female. Right? Females are paid very less and they are not given opportunities for so many reasons. For so many reasons, what they want to do is they want to see that they want to see that all the women were given equal opportunities with men, and they must be paid equally with the men, and they must be given special provisions. Women must be given special provisions, like you can see maternity leave is there, maternity leave is there, child care leave is there, and they want to see how much wages they are getting in the non-agricultural sector, not only in agriculture, but in among the other non-agricultural sectors. You take any industries or educational institutions wherever the women were working, so how much wages they are paid, whether they are paid equally with men or not, that also they want to see, and they want to bring the equality among the genders. There is no difference between men and women, both can work equally, both can share the work, both can work equally, both can work equally. So women are not less to men, both are same in all the aspects. They can compete, they can do competitive jobs. So now you can see women were given even in the parliament also they are given, and 33% reservation was given. So come forward and participate in the election. So 33% reservation was given. Because of that, you can see in all the medical colleges more number of girls are than boys. So more number of girls are joining in medicine when compared to the males. Right, 33% reservation is applicable. So many things they brought out, that is promote gender equality and empower women. So women were given priority, they were given reservations, they were given priority, they are given special privileges like maternity leave or child care leave. So many things they were given, so that they want to bring down the disparity between the men and women. That is mainly they want to promote gender equality, so both the genders are same, and they want to see that the women will get the same wages with the men in the non-agricultural sectors also. That means in the education system, or maybe in the industries, or maybe in the multinational companies, or maybe anywhere, or even in the parliament also. They want to see that women get more chances to participate in the elections. So more number of seats are allotted to the women. So women reservation is given. So to promote gender equality and empower women, that is the goal 3. For that they have taken up so many programs. Especially for that they have taken up, every country has taken up so many programs, especially when it comes to India. So the disparity has been almost reduced between the male and female sector. They are present in the industries, companies, education system, everywhere. And then there 33% reservation was given, and they were given chances. They were given a chance. Also, they were given special in the parliament also, in the assembly privileges. So that is empowerment of women. Then goal 4. So if you look at the goal 4, there is a reduction of child mortality. What they want to do is they reduce child mortality. Goal 4 is nothing but reduction of child mortality. How to reduce the child mortality? That is target 1 is reduce mortality, under 5 mortality by 2/3. They want to reduce under 5 mortality. UF means under 5 mortality. They reduce under 5 mortality by 2/3. They want to bring down the child mortality by 2/3 by the year 2015. So what are the indicators? is under 5 mortality rate. So what are the reasons for under 5 mortality rate? So when they have done a research, on the under 5 mortality rate, the main causes for mortality for under 5 are mainly acute respiratory tract infections, diarrheal diseases, and then mainly communicable diseases. Mainly they came to know that communicable diseases and then vaccine preventable diseases. These are the main reasons for the under 5 mortality. That's why what they have done, they brought out immunization program early stage and bring them to the hospital, or preparation of oral rehydration solution, training to all the workers in the field as well as to the mothers were given, so that under 5 mortality can be controlled. And then infant mortality rate, so infant mortality rate, that is also very high because of the communicable diseases, as well because of the communicable diseases. So that's why what they have done is they have started immunization as early as possible by birth only. They have started they are giving immunization, as well as to reduce the infant mortality rate. They brought out so many programs, and they strengthened the hospitals so that infant mortality can be reduced. And then they are taking mainly measles into consideration. It is because it is highly fatal disease. So how many so measles vaccine will be given at the end of 9th month. So percentage of 1 year old children immunized against measles. So at least 85 to 90% of the children, at least 85 to their target is at least 85 to 90% of the children must be immunized. Must be immunized against measles. Immunized against measles. That is percentage of 1 year old children immunized against measles. So the target is at least 85 to 95% of the children less than 1 year age group must be immunized against measles, so that we can reduce the infant mortality rate. So these are the indicators which they have taken into consideration. Then the goal 5 is the improve maternal quarters, maternal mortality ratio by 3/4. So improve maternal health. So for improving the maternal health, they are taken up the National Family Welfare Program. Through this program, antenatal visits will be given. Antenatal visits, immunization, supplementation with iron folic acids, and whatever the diseases are there, all the investigations they are going to do in the first trimester only, and they will be identified. Whatever the systemic diseases are there, they are going to treat them. All the whatever precautions or whatever the preventive steps they have taken up is just to reduce the maternal mortality ratio. That is the main thing. So they have taken up the family welfare program. In this program, they are going to give antenatal visits regularly. What is the weight gain? What is the blood pressure? What is the height, weight of that antenatal woman? Immunization, TT immunizations will be given, and then iron folic acid supplements will be distributed free of cost. And every month they have to come to the antenatal visits. They made it compulsory. So all the blood investigations they are going to do, that is HP, TC, DC, ESR, RBS, VDRL, HIV, so many testings. Why they are doing all these things is to reduce the this program, antenatal visits will be done, and then immunizations, distribution of iron, folic acids, blood examination, urine examination, stool examination, everything will be done. Everything will be done, and so that the mother antenatals undergo normal delivery without any complications, safely, and the health of the mother and the baby must be protected. So that's why they have taken up National Family Welfare Program to reduce the maternal mortality by 3/4. The indicators, what are the indicators they have taken into consideration? That is proportion of births attended by skilled health personnel. So that's what they have done is they have shifted. Previously, trained birth attendants are there, so they are conducting the deliveries at the houses of the antenatals only. As a result of that, a lot of complications were happening. Maybe mother may get sepsis, and finally she may land up with the complications, or finally it may lead to death also. And sometimes what happens, if they don't handle properly, if they don't follow six cleans properly, definitely baby will be affected. Baby may develop complications, or baby may land up with sepsis, and finally it may lead to death also. That's why what they are doing is how many births were attended by skilled health personnel. Previously, we are calling them as trained birth attendants. Now we are converting the trained birth into skilled health personnel or skilled health attendants, so that we are giving converting that trained birth attendants by giving some knowledge, by improving their skills, how to conduct the normal delivery, how to identify the complicated to the higher center. So all the skills early will be given to the birth attendant, and after that she will become skilled birth attendant. So she will identify the complications early, and so that mother and baby will be safe. Suppose if it is a normal delivery without any complications, they will attend the delivery and they will do. So all the equipment will be provided by the government. All the delivery kit will be provided by the government. All the disposable delivery kit will be provided, so that they can conduct the delivery safely, so that mother will be safe and baby will be safe without any complications. So that's why the indicator what they have taken to measure in reducing the maternal mortality as well as maternal mortality ratio is that proportion of births attended by skilled health personnel. So how many births were attended by a skilled health personnel? What about its outcome? Whether if a skilled health personnel is attending a delivery, doing it safely without any complications to the mother and baby, how many were there in the entire India? So how much were there? How many deaths happened in that? How many complications happened in that? Like that, they have taken up that as an indicator. That is proportion of births attended by skilled health personnel, and see that they have taken that as an indicator, and see that to reduce the maternal mortality ratio. And then second one is maternal mortality ratio. So how many deaths were there? Per 1 year? How many maternal deaths has happened? And what are the causes for it? And how to overcome that? Suppose if you know in a month, in a year, almost 1,000 deliveries happened. Out of that 1,000, 30 or 40 maternal deaths has happened. So what are the causes for it? So if you know the causes, you can plan the preventive measures. Very easily. That's why what they have taken is maternal mortality ratio as one of the indicators. Suppose if you take, suppose example, for 1 year, 1,000 births, births has happened. Among that 1,000, 30 maternal deaths has happened. So what are the reasons for that 30? If you identify the reasons or the causes for the maternal mortality in that particular 30, you can know the cause. If you know the cause, you can frame the preventive measures for that, so that from 30 for the next one you can reduce it to 5 or 4. Next year you can reduce that 30 to 5 or 4. That's why they have taken maternal mortality ratio as also one of the indicator for reducing the maternal mortality. That is proportion of births attended by skilled health personnel. That is the one indicator. and the second one is maternal mortality ratio. That is also one of the indicator which they have taken into consideration. So overall, what they are saying is the overall main aim of this goal is to improve the maternal health. Whatever steps we are taking, whatever programs we are taking under this under this target is to improve maternal health. We want to improve the maternal health so that the mother must be safe as well as the child must be safe. They both must have the good health. So that is improving the maternal health. And if you look at the goal 6, if you look at the goal 6, that is combat HIV/AIDS, malaria, and other diseases and other communicable diseases, that is tuberculosis or any other disease you can say. So goal 6 is what they want to do is, in the goal 6, what they want to achieve is they want to overcome HIV/AIDS. They want to reduce HIV/AIDS, malaria, and other diseases which are fatal. They want to overcome them. They want to halt them. The main target is they have already halted by 2015 and began to reverse the spread of HIV. So in case of HIV, what they have done is they have already stopped. They have already stopped. That is almost reduced to 50% by 2015, and now they want to reverse. They want to bring back down, bring it down to less than to bring it down to as much as possible. They want to reduce the reduce the HIV cases as much less possible, and the spread of the HIV also they want to reduce. That is have halted by 2015 and began to reverse spread of HIV and began to reverse the spread of HIV. So what are the indicators they have taken into consideration for this? So the main goal is to combat HIV/AIDS, malaria, and other diseases. So the indicators which they have taken into consideration is that HIV prevalence among 15 to 24 years antenatal mothers. So the main target which they have taken up is antenatal mothers, that is 15 to 24 years, HIV prevalence among 15 to 24 years antenatal mothers. So 15 to 24, they are in the reproductive age group. So this 15 to 24 years age group, they are mainly in the reproductive age group. So and moreover, what is happening is their entire data, if you once they are booked in a hospital, so they are easily accessible. They are easily accessible, and if you measure, and if you can do, you can counsel them properly, and you can do the HIV testing. You can do the HIV testing among the antenatals very easily because their data is easily available. So that's why what they have done is they have taken HIV prevalence among 15 to 24 years antenatal mothers. That is most important indicator which they have considered, because all the antenatals you can get at one place, because they must as per our rule, all the antenatals must be registered. That is a booked antenatal case, and they have to undergo all use rate of total prevalence of contraception. So how many people are using condoms? So that is also that is also one of the indicators. That is the condoms that prevents the spread of disease from male to female. So while this condom usage, how many people are using it, and then number of children orphaned by HIV/AIDS. So how many people lost their mother or both mother and father? So how many number of children are there by orphaned by HIV/AIDS? This is also one of the indicators. So for combating HIV/AIDS, these are the indicators. Their target is mainly they have already halted by 2015, and now they want to reverse. They want to begin to reverse the spread of HIV. So what they are doing? What they have taken into consideration. So what are the indicators they have taken? That is HIV prevalence among antenatal mothers, especially 15 to 24 years age group, and then condom use rate, and then number of children orphaned by HIV/AIDS. So how many children became orphaned, lost their parents, or a mother or child, mother or father? So how many children are there in the society or in the entire India? So that also they have taken up as one of the indicators for combating HIV/AIDS. And then target 2 is halted by 2015 and began to reverse the incidence of malaria and other major diseases. So now they have targeted on malaria. They have already halted by 2015, almost they have made it 50%, and began to reverse. So they want to slow down, they want to reduce the incidence of malaria in the entire India and other major diseases. So the indicators which they have taken up are prevalence and death rates associated with malaria. So what is the prevalence of malaria in India and how many people died due to malaria? That also they have taken up into consideration. That is one of the indicators. So if you by prevalence you will come to know how much it is prevalent in the entire India. What is the percentage of malarial prevalence in the entire India? So if you know the prevalence of malaria, you will come to know how the program is working and what are the necessary steps to be taken to change. What are the changes or what are the necessary preventive measures you have to take up in the program so that you can prevent malaria in the, or you can have to take up how the program is good, whether it is going in the right direction or wrong direction. So to know that, you have to calculate the prevalence of malaria and death rates associated with malaria. So how many deaths were happening per year? What are the reasons for it? Why we are not able to not yet able to tackle the deaths properly due to malaria? And what are the new things we have to introduce into the program? All those things you can calculate. You can see what are the causes for deaths also. So if you know the causes, you can plan the preventive measures and you can plan the treatment for that. So that's related with malaria. In malaria, preventive measures and treatment. So proportion of population in malaria risk area, especially in tribal and rural areas where the prevalence is where the risk of malaria is more. So how many are using insecticide bed nets? How many are using full hand sleeves? How many are using nets? So government is supplying all those things. Prophylactic drugs are also giving. They are giving prophylactic drugs. Nets are given. Insecticide bed nets will be given, and they are advised to wear long sleeves and long sleeves so that they can protect themselves from the mosquito bites. And they are supposed to use at right time or not. So all those things they have taken into consideration. They have considered them as indicators. So how much population they have taken up. And second, and the next one is I told you there and the other major disease is that tuberculosis. So prevalence and death rates associated with tuberculosis, proportion of TB cases detected and cured under DOTS. So regarding tuberculosis, what they have done is they want to know what is the prevalence. Once you know the prevalence, you will come to know how the program is going on. If the prevalence is coming down, you can automatically say that the program is working effectively and it needs to be intensified. Suppose if the prevalence is going up, that means our program is not working effectively and you need to modify the program. So that's why prevalence of any disease or incidence of any disease will give you a clue that whether your program is working in right direction or whether it is going in another direction. Suppose if you know that prevalence is coming down, automatically you can say that your program is doing right, it is going in right direction, and you can proceed with that. Especially it may be malaria program or it may be tuberculosis program or it may be HIV program, whatever may be. whatever may be. So for all the programs, you have to consider prevalence of that particular disease, whether it is high or low when compared to the previous year, whether it is increasing or decreasing. So once you compare, you will come to know whether whatever program you have taken up, whether it is appropriately working or not. So based on that, you can modify, or you can modify the program, bring about the changes in the program, you can evaluate the program and bring the results as early as possible. Similarly, in case of tuberculosis, prevalence as well as the death rates associated with tuberculosis, they have taken up as one of the indicators, and proportion of TB cases detected. So how much proportion of TB cases were detected in a particular year? So if the proportion is very high, definitely your program is not working properly. And the cured under DOTS. So how many people are getting DOTS treatment? Whether how much proportion of population are cured by DOTS? Whether the DOTS program is working effectively or not, we will come to know. So these are the indicators which they have taken up for the tuberculosis program. And if you come to the goal 6, that is ensure environmental sustainability. So main is environmental sustainability, that is carbon dioxide emission, usage of plastics, oil countries. So all the integrate the principles of sustainable development into country policies and programs and reverse the loss of environmental resources. So if you what we are doing is all the waste which is generated in the industries, they are directly throwing that waste in the sea or in the oceans. As a result of that, all the aquatic life is lost. Aquatic resources we are losing, they are getting contaminated, and aquatic resources we are losing, that is reduced biodiversity loss, achieving by 210 a significant reduction in the rate of loss. And target 3 is halve the proportion of people without sustainable access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation, even in majority of the urban slums as well as in the rural and tribal areas. Majority of the people, they are not having the proper sanitation as well as the safe drinking water facilities. That and good drinking water facilities. And target 4, by 2020 to have achieved a significant improvement in the lives of at least 100 million slum dwellers. That means by 2020 they want to improve all the urban slums, rural areas, so that everybody must have good sanitation facilities and then good water supply facilities. At least 100 million slum dwellers, they must get the good sanitation as well as the good water supply facilities by 2020. Then access to safe drinking water. So every individual in the society must get access to safe drinking water. That is, if you protect the environment, properly, it will provide all the resources to us safely, and we will be in safe hands. If you destroy the environment, automatically it will destroy you. If you destroy the environment, automatically it will destroy the health of the people. So that's why you see that environmental sustainability, ensure environmental sustainability. So you have to sustain the environment. You have to sustain, you have to keep the environment safe, then automatically it will protect you. Then automatically it will protect the health of the people. So that's what the goal 6 is, that ensure environmental sustainability. Now, if you look at the goal 8, development of global partnership for development. Development of global, that is not that India alone cannot achieve so many things. We need the help of the other countries also. We need the help. We may be having the human resources, other countries may be having other infrastructure or the intelligence or the environment suitable for doing research or environment suitable for some other thing. So what we have to do is we have to develop global partnerships. So you have to see that you have to go friendship, or you have to do the friendship with all other countries, so that you have to get the resources from different countries, so that will be useful for the development of India. So that's why development of global partnership for the development of our nation. That is Target is provide access to affordable essential drugs in developing countries. So mainly we are concerned with the health. So whatever the new techniques, whatever the new protocols are there in the different countries, we have to adopt them. We have to modify them according to our national scenario, and we have to use them. We have to use them. Like a simple example, I can say IMNCI, Integrated Management of Neonatal and Childhood Illnesses. So that is mainly from other country, that is IMCI. Basically their protocol is only for integrated management of childhood illnesses. But here neonates also in India, neonates are also facing a lot of problems because infant mortality rate or neonatal mortality rate is very high. That's why what we have done is we have modified that program into integrated management of neonatal and childhood illnesses. So we have adopted that program from other country and modified according to the needs of. That's why you have to build up friendship. We have to build up global partnership with other countries, and you have to adopt whatever the new techniques are there, technology is there. You have to take up, you have to adopt and see that. And we can provide the good health to all the people in the society. So these are the 8 goals you have to class. I am considering everybody as present. So thank you everyone. Stop your recording. Madam, subject